Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I'm here to share a fun congratulations on your engagement card. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's sentiment strip dies, along with our new congratulations stamp set, our congratulations outline dies, our flower dies, our Gnome dies Spring Add Ons, along with our spring dies. And I'm using our stitched oval dies and our scalloped oval dies. There we go. I'm also using Echo Park's paper. It's called Just Wedding. It's a 6-inch pad. So I'm using a landscape card, which is 5.5 by 8.5 inches, scored at 4.25 to give a landscape A2 size card. And I cut a piece of pattern paper 1/8 of an inch smaller, and that will be my background. I also cut out scalloped and stitched oval dies. The stitched oval was 4.255 by 3 inches roughly, and the scalloped oval is 3.75 by 5 inches. That doesn't make, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, sorry guys. And I ran those all through my Gemini machine. So right now I am going to be stamping that congratulations sentiment onto acetate. That is our, what is it called? The Judkins embossable acetate. And I'm stamping that on ink on 3s, juicy ink, using my Misty, just because I like to stamp it a couple of times when I'm stamping on acetate. I did use my powder tool first, generously. There we go. And then I'm using Brutus Monroe's Alabaster embossing powder. There we go. And I will sprinkle that over. And I'm using a coffee filter just to, catch all my extras. Catch all that powder. There we go. And I will go ahead and I'm going to emboss it, or heat emboss it, melt it with my embossing tool. That's by Marvy. There we go. So easy stuff. There we are. And now I'm going to get the card going. So I'm going to apply this pattern paper from that wedding pad. That's 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card base. And I'm just going to line that up so it'll have a tiny 1/8 of an inch border around the whole thing using my ATG tape, like I said. There we are. And then I've got my layers. That one oval layer is cut out of Smoky Shadow paper tray ink cardstock, and then the card base I think I mentioned is paper tray ink white card base. It's white paper, white cardstock, blah, blah, blah. There we go. So now I went ahead and you can see I cut the outline. I used the outline die for the congratulations, and I cut that in the center of my stitched oval die. And the idea is I'm going to line that up over my acetate, and then I'm going to be making a shaker window, which is lots of fun. So there we are. I'm also using a little bit of score tape on the ends just because I couldn't make my ATG tape turn the corner there. And I'm just going to lay that down and try and get it perfectly lined up. Of course I don't. I've got to peel it up and, craziness ensues. So I end up having to cut back to where it's lined up. Basically, I just peeled it up and restuck it down. Now I'm going to trim around my oval, sort of just under the edge, right? And there we go. Just cutting that all out. And it's going to give me a nice see-through shaker window for the word congratulations, which I think is lots of fun. It's kind of a fun little take using Jaded Blossom's sentiment dies with their outline dies, right? So it's kind of fun. Got my Teflon bone folder, which I used to make my card base with my Martha Stewart scoreboard. So I went ahead and I cut that outline die through, that is some, what is that? That's that paper tray ink Smoky Shadow cardstock again. And I cut it out of the stitched oval die, or cut out using the same stitched oval die. And then I'm going to layer it up. I'm just going to give my pattern paper a little bit more weight, just so when I pop it up, it's not going to get all dippy and doodly, you know what I mean? It's going to be nice and firm for when I'm using my foam tape to make my shaker window. So there we are. So I've got my Derice foam strips, and I'm just going to basically run them around this area. Now I want to get it up as close as I can to the word, just that way, you can see the shaker bits that I'm putting in. I'm not wasting anything, and it's not going to be hidden by the paper itself. I want it to show, behind my word congratulations. So I just, that's my way of doing that. I just try to fit up that foam tape as close as I can to the edge using my Tim Holtz shears with the non-stick blades just to cut those. Now you notice that I used all my flower dies and my leaves dies from all those different stamp or die sets, the spring dies, the Gnome Spring Add Ons, and our flower dies, just to cut a few little floral pieces and leaves out of the same wedding Echo Park paper pad. And I'll be popping that up on my finished image just for a little bit of embellishment. So there we go. I'm just, filling it in as best as I can with all of that foam tape. Now, this was from our last release. I just love these sentiment stamp sets. I just think they're fun, and you can make your sentiment say but whatever you'd like because there's so many different choices. And that's why I chose a congratulations on your engagement. It's a fun little card to send out to someone, or if you're going to an engagement party, something like that. Okay, now I'm using Cartwright's Moonshine Sequins in 4mm, 5mm, and 3mm. And I'm just going to put some of each in my little shaker pocket there, my little shaker spot. There we go. And I liked that they're not colorful, they're see-through, and that way, you get the glitter from them, but they're not kind of taking over what's going on in the card, like it's not drawing your attention away from the shaker itself. There we go. I cut another scalloped oval. And there we go, sandwiched, and everything is fine. So now I'll be able to put my card together. So I cut paper using my scalloped oval die, and I told you what size that was, and I'm just going to pop that down onto my card base, lining it up. I'm actually standing up to do this because I have to stand right over top to line things up. Now I'm using my ATG tape, and I'll apply it to the back of my little shaker there, and I will pop that down right in the center. So it's lots of fun. Look at that. So now this could be for anything, but I love the wedding paper for this congratulations on your engagement. You could have said on your wedding, right? Or, there's so many different things you could say. You could pull out an old set and say on your anniversary, right? So now I am popping down. Now that is from our flower dies. And then that piece is from our spring dies. There we go. And I'm just going to pop that down with some art glitter glue. And I'm popping my flowers up with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. There we go. And I'm going to pop up another little flower. That's probably a center, but I used it as a flower here. And then I've got these leaves are from that spring, or the Gnome Dies Spring Add Ons, just the little leaves. And then the little tiny flower is from our spring dies again. And I'm just going to pop that up. Like I said, all the paper is from that Echo Park wedding pad. There we go. And I've got a 3/4 of an inch strip of paper from that same pad. And I'm just going to put that on the inside. Just, because I like to put a little something on the inside, right? There we go. And I'll just line that up using my Stampin' Up! Pad. So that'll be super fast and easy. There we are. Perfect. I'll trim off my overhang. There we go. And that is almost that. Now I'm just going to add on some enamel dots. These are Recollections pink enamel dots. And I'm just going to add those on to the centers of my little flowers, just like I said, for a little bit of embellishment. And you know that I'll be using there's 3 different colors in these. And they all just match perfectly. It was just, it was just pure luck. And I'm using my pen blade just to take those off of my the little pieces of acetate that they're on. And now I'm going to quickly stamp the rest of the sentiment using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink and my Misty again. And so I'm stamping the words on your engagement. So I'll quickly line those up. They don't have to be perfect because I'll be cutting them out using our sentiment strip dies, which are so much fun to use and so awesome, right? So I'm just going to quickly stamp that VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, like I said. And I do stamp it a couple of times. You don't want to push too hard though, because you don't want to squish the letters. So I just stamp them a couple of times and just lightly run my fingertips over top of the stamp. And then that way I get a great stamped image and I don't kind of squash my sentiment. There we go. We'll do it again. And then that's that. So then I will choose the strips that fit the best. and I'll line those up. And then I will run these through and cut them out with my Gemini machine. So there we go. And I do use highlighter tape. I got on Amazon. It works really well to hold these in place, and it peels off well even after it goes through my Gemini machine, which is also, you know, it's kind of awesome. So I do stand up to do this so they're lined up perfectly. It's just a little bit tricky, right? Just kidding, because, you know, I'm all thumbs. Let's just, that's a fact. There we go. So I'm just trying to get them all lined up nice and straight. And now once they're cut out with my Gemini machine, like I said, I will pop them up using Jerry's foam strips, the same ones. And then I'm going to use my reverse tweezers just so I can kind of line them up on my card. I do use a T-square ruler just to make sure things are straight. But there we go, and I will trim off some more of these foam strips. It was kind of nice because 2 of them fit these sentiment strip dies like perfectly. There we go, in the height, you know what I mean. There we go, and I will pop that on using my EK6S tweezers. There we go, and I'll get them lined up. And I just wanted to make sure things are straight. That's why I'm kind of tilting it up. And there we go. So isn't that fun? So I think it's a perfectly fun card. There's the inside. And I'm shaking it to make sure it shakes well. And how cute is that? And that's also, thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog to get inspired, and the Jaded Blossom store, and maybe get your hot little hands on these items. So thank you so much for watching my videos as always, and we will see you soon in my next one. Bye everyone.